Solids have clear spatial dimensions, and they neutralize time by resisting deformation. They are stable, predictable, and they persist over time. In contrast, fluids cannot hold their shape for long. They are characterized by a constant readiness to flow, to spill, and to leak. In a liquid environment, time matters more than space because fluids do not occupy space permanently. They fill it only for the moment. Zygmunt Bauman contrasts these properties of solids and fluids as a metaphor for the developing direction of contemporary society. For Bauman, modernity has always been about melting the solids, a phrase he adopts from Marx and Engels. In its first phase, solid modernity, pre-modern traditions and institutions were dissolved, but only to make way for new and improved solids. This era sought a lasting solidity through rational bureaucracies and massive industrial structures. We have now progressed to an era of liquid modernity. The melting powers have been redirected. We no longer build new, permanent structures. Instead, social forms like employment, community, beliefs, even the notion of the self, melt faster than they can be forged. Because institutional frameworks have liquefied, the nature of human freedom has been fundamentally altered. The process created a gap between the individual de jure, defined by legal rights, and the individual de facto, those who actually possess the resources to self-assert. While modern actors have achieved unprecedented freedom from traditional social constraints, they suffer from an equally unprecedented impotence to influence the systemic conditions of their lives. The result is the privatization of problems. We are forced to seek individual, biographical solutions to systemic contradictions. When institutions no longer provide stability, structural crises are reinterpreted as personal failures. This shifts the focus away from collective solutions, emptying public space, the agora, of collective political content. Instead, the public sphere is filled with the public display of private affairs and individualized anxieties. In this environment, the individual becomes the citizen's worst enemy. Private worries colonize the space where collective political action was once negotiated. Genuine emancipation and widespread social change become impossible. When the public sphere can no longer anchor collective life, the burden of stability shifts inward towards the individual. In liquid modernity, identity is no longer an inherited status or a stable social position. It has transformed into a temporary task that individuals must perform and reinvent every day. This reflects a major shift in how our economy is organized. We have moved away from the old producer society where the world was organized around steady industrial labor. In that older system, society only required you to be healthy. Health was a straightforward, measurable goal. It meant your body was functionally fit to show up to the factory or the office, to do the work, and to conform to a standardized social role. People knew what was expected of them and had a consistent ideal to aspire to. Today's fluid consumer society doesn't operate on standard duties. It drives perpetual seduction and infinite desire. Because the economy now demands endless novelty, the old ideal of health has been replaced by the modern obsession with fitness. The difference is that health is a fixed destination with a clear finish line, while fitness is entirely subjective, open-ended, and open to interpretation. To be fit in a liquid world means being in a state of perpetual readiness, to be ever ready to absorb new sensations, to try new products, and to instantly adapt to changing market demands. Because fitness has no final destination, individuals can never truly achieve it. There is always a new standard, a new vulnerability, a new product to buy. The endless demand to adapt becomes a perpetual source of personal anxiety. In the absence of rigid institutional structures, traditional authority figures are replaced by commercial counselors and lifestyle examples. Celebrities offer their own lives as temporary templates to be emulated through shopping. In a world where all identities are liquid and valid only until further notice, shopping serves as a temporary rite of exorcism in response to the deep insecurity produced by this fluid social landscape. The necessity for constant flexibility changes how power operates across time and space. Modernity is effectively the history of time emancipating itself from space through technology. In the heavy phase of modernity, power was bulky, immobile, and territorial. It was epitomized by the Panopticon. Both capitalists and workers were bound to a physical location for production and surveillance to occur. In the light modernity of the software era, power has become extraterritorial. It is hypermobile and it moves at the speed of electronic signals. Capital has become detached from local responsibilities. This results in two polarized social classes. The global mobile elite rule by escape and disengagement. They view durability and heavy physical assets as liabilities. Local populations are fixed in physical space, left entirely vulnerable to decisions made by invisible, absent holders of wealth and power. Space has become a prison for those who cannot move, while time has become a tool for those who can escape. This asymmetric mobility ensures that those who are stuck in place bear the cost of decisions made by a fluid, invisible elite who operate without restriction of boundaries. The separation of mobile power from physical territory has completely upended the world of work, transforming employment from a stable anchor into a source of perpetual uncertainty. The long-term marriage between capital and labour that defined the heavy industrial era has been replaced by a loose, temporary cohabitation that can be broken by capital at any moment. Capital has shed the burden of local management and surveillance, downsizing and thinning structures to maintain maximum flexibility in volatile global markets. Simultaneously, labour has been disembodied. The highest value work no longer involves material production, but rather the manipulation of symbols, data, and ideas. Consequently, the traditional work ethic of delaying gratification for a future, long-term reward has been superseded by the aesthetic of consumption. It prioritizes instant gratification and evaluates work primarily on its capacity to provide immediate sensory pleasure and personal fulfillment. Because corporate structures are in a state of constant flux, work no longer serves as a secure anchor for identity. Individual biographies fragment into a series of disconnected episodes with no long-term continuity. The contemporary obsession with community arises as a purely defensive reaction to the precariousness of liquid life. Because genuine, long-term human bonds have become so fragile, individuals desperately seek immediate, highly charged alternatives to traditional solidarity. This leads to the formation of explosive communities or neo-tribes that maintain unity through the shared hatred of an enemy and the exclusion of outsiders. We see these cloakroom communities in temporary gatherings, exemplified by fans at concerts and sporting events. Individuals briefly hang up their private concerns for a moment of synchronized collective emotion, only to reclaim their solitary, isolated identities the moment the spectacle ends. These gatherings provide a temporary carnival of togetherness, but they do not resolve the underlying structural causes of individual isolation. Bauman concludes that the sociologist must adopt the spiritual stance of the exile, combining intimacy with critical distance to pierce the wall of the obvious. The purpose of sociology is to help individuals distinguish between their fate, the circumstances they cannot change, and their destiny, the choices they can make within those circumstances. In a world of manufactured certainty, sociology acts as a tool for enlightenment. It has the power to restore the link between private troubles and their public causes, and to ensure that human choices remain genuinely free.